a burning sky, a dying ship, and one man plunges into a world he's never seen, where danger hides in every shadow and survival isn't up to him anymore. He wakes, broken and bleeding, only to be lifted, literally, into the arms of a fierce, winged alien warrior. But she doesn't just save him, she refuses to let him go. Is she a protector? Or a captor with a secret of her own? One thing's certain, nothing about this planet is what it seems. If you are new here, then please subscribe this channel and show thumbs up by liking the video. Now let's move to this wonderful story. The sky was quiet until the fire came. Darren gripped the control handles of his ship, eyes darting across the flickering dashboard. Red lights flashed urgently, warning beeps screamed, and smoke curled from under the console. He cursed under his breath. Nothing he tried was working. Systems had failed without warning. The planet below, thick with clouds and hidden terrain, was getting closer with terrifying speed. "Come on, stay with me," he whispered, voice tight, sweat dripping from his brow. The small exploration craft shook violently, metal groaning as though the ship itself was crying out in pain. Sparks burst from the panel. There was no time to calculate a proper descent. He did the only thing left. He braced for impact. When the crash came, it was all fire and sound. Trees snapped like twigs as the ship tore through the dense jungle canopy. A flash of green, and then darkness swallowed everything. Darren woke to pain. His side burned, his throat dry and raw. Every breath was a struggle. The air was thick and damp, filled with the scent of earth and strange flowers. Light filtered down through leaves high above, green and gold, and strangely beautiful. He tried to sit up, but his body protested, heavy and aching. Then, a voice. "You're awake," soft, calm, and unfamiliar. Darren blinked, trying to focus. A figure knelt beside him, tall, graceful, not human. She had long limbs and wings folded neatly behind her back. Her skin shimmered faintly under the filtered light, and feathers lined her arms in iridescent colors that changed as she moved. Bronze, violet, hints of silver. "You shouldn't have survived that," she said, tilting her head. Darren coughed, pain stabbing his ribs. Who are you?" "My name is Naya. I am a sky guard of Thalion." "A sky guard?" he muttered. "You're an alien," she smiled just a little. "And you are very hurt." Before he could reply, Naya moved forward and lifted him with ease. Her arms were strong, wings steady, and her touch, though firm, was strangely comforting. Darren weakly pushed against her chest. "Put me down," he said, embarrassed. "I can walk." "You cannot," Naya said plainly. "You won't last an hour alone in this jungle. I carry you because I must." And with that, she spread her wings and leapt into the air. Darren's breath caught as they lifted from the ground. Wind rushed around him, leaves whipping past. He dared a glance down and saw the massive forest stretching endlessly in every direction, twisting. Rivers, colorful trees glowing faintly, and towering cliffs. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Despite the discomfort of being carried like a child, part of him was amazed. "Where are you taking me?" he asked, his voice nearly lost. "In the wind. To my village," Naya replied, flying with steady wings. "You need healing. And safety." The flight wasn't smooth. Her wings beat powerfully, but the jungle's air was thick and the distance far. Darren's head rested against her shoulder, pain still thudding in his side. Slowly he drifted in and, out of awareness, rocked by the rhythm of flight. When they finally landed, Naya set him down gently on soft moss. Around them were strange, dome-like structures made from woven vines and stones that glowed faintly. The air smelled of herbs and smoke. Small figures moved with quiet purpose. The village was alive but peaceful. An elder approached, a healer small and pale with clear skin that caught the light. Her hands were cool and quick as she examined Darren, her expression calm. "Broken ribs," she murmured. "Concussion. He needs rest." Darren nodded, too weak to argue. Naya stayed close as they carried him into one of the huts. laying him on a bed of moss and feathers. He tried to sit up, but every movement hurt. Days passed slowly. Darren's body began to heal, but his pride remained bruised. He hated being so helpless, relying on someone he barely knew, especially someone not human. Naya checked on him often. Sometimes she spoke softly. Other times she sat in silence, wings folded behind her like a shield. One morning, he tried to stand. His legs trembled, pain sharp in his ribs. Naya appeared at the doorway, her gaze steady. "Let me carry you," she said. "No," Darren replied. "I can walk." She paused, then stepped forward and scooped him up again before he could protest. "Stop," he groaned, pushing weakly against her. "I'm not a child." "You are still healing," she said, "and I protect what I care for." Darren stopped resisting, too tired to argue. As she lifted him into the light of day, he realized something. It wasn't just about strength, it was about trust. The village looked different from above. He saw children with small wings playing by glowing pools, laughter echoing through the trees. Warriors moved with grace, their feathered cloaks trailing behind them. Naya carried him to a quiet stream, where the water sparkled under twin moons. She set him down gently on a smooth rock. Darren looked at her, confused. "Why are you doing this?" Naya met his gaze. "Because you matter. You're not just something to save. You are someone to protect." And in that moment, as strange as it was, Darren felt something shift inside him. Maybe it was the pain, maybe the loneliness, or maybe it was the way her wings blocked out the sky, as if nothing else could reach him. Whatever it was, he let her carry him. Not because he was weak, but because somehow it felt like home. The sun rose slowly over the cliffs of Thalion, casting soft golden light across the Skyguard village. Darren opened his eyes to the glow slipping through the woven vines of the hut. The pain in his ribs had dulled, but the ache remained like a quiet reminder. He lay on a bed of moss, the scent of herbs and wood smoke still fresh in the air. Everything was unfamiliar yet strangely peaceful. Outside, the sounds of distant wings and soft voices echoed like music. Naya entered the hut with a small bowl in her hands. "You're awake," she said gently. Her feathers shimmered with morning light, bronze and violet, almost glowing. She handed him the bowl. "Drink. It will help with the pain." Darren took it without arguing. The drink was bitter, but warm. "You don't have to stay," he said after a moment. Naya tilted her head. "I know, but I want to." He looked away, unsure how to respond. In his world, kindness came with conditions, but here Naya offered it freely, without asking for anything in return. That made him feel even more out of place. Later that day, she carried him outside. Though he protested again, his body wasn't ready to move on its own. Naya was careful, lifting him as if he weighed nothing. From the air, he saw the village fully for the first time. Platforms built into the mountain cliffs, joined by bridges of vine and stone. Floating lanterns hung in the trees. Waterfalls ran down the rocks, catching sunlight in sparkling streams. It was beautiful, alive in a way he hadn't expected. She flew him to a ledge overlooking the valley. Below, the jungle stretched wide and wild, covered in morning mist. Birds with colorful wings soared through the sky. "This is my home," Naya said quietly. "The Skyguards have lived here for generations." Darren nodded. "You don't look like soldiers." "We are not only soldiers," she said. "We are keepers, protectors of this land." He watched her carefully. Her words were simple, but there was something deeper in her voice, something shaped by pain. "What happened to your people?" he asked. Naya hesitated, her wings shifting slightly. "Long ago, invaders came from the sky. Raiders. They burned our trees and took our kin. Many of us died fighting them. Now only a few of us remain. We hide, we guard, and we wait." He looked down at the forest below, his heart heavy. "I'm sorry. You don't need to be," she replied. "But now that you are here, you must understand this world. It is beautiful, but it is dangerous." Over the next few days, Darren grew stronger, though slowly. Each time he tried to walk, his legs gave out. Naya was always there to catch him before he hit the ground. At first, he hated that. He hated the way she lifted him, the way he had to rely on her just to move. He hated feeling weak. One afternoon, as she helped him bathe near a warm spring, he snapped, "I'm tired of being carried," he muttered. "I'm not broken." Naya didn't answer immediately. She crouched beside him, scooping water with a small bowl. "I know," she said softly. "But healing takes time, and caring for someone does not mean they are weak." He didn't respond. The truth was, her words touched something in him. He had always been the one solving problems, fixing machines, surviving alone. Now he couldn't even stand without help. Yet Naya never looked at him with pity, only with quiet strength. That night, as they sat near the fire, a small creature emerged from the trees. It was no larger than a rabbit, but it glowed gently with pale blue light. Its fur shimmered like the night sky. Darren watched in awe as the creature came closer, curious but cautious. Naya smiled. "That is a tolu. They are rare. They only approach those they trust." The tolu sniffed Darren's hand and chirped softly. He froze, not wanting to scare it. Then it nuzzled his palm and curled up beside him. "I guess it likes me," he said, surprised. Naya nodded. "It sees your heart, like I do." From that night on, the tolu followed Darren everywhere. It curled beside him when he slept, climbed into his lap when he sat near the fire, and chirped softly whenever he was in pain. Its gentle light made the long nights less lonely. But not all was calm. One morning, a scout returned to the village with news. Tracks in the jungle. Signs of movement. Someone was coming. Naya's expression turned serious. "The raiders are near again," she said. "They may have seen your ship." Darren's chest tightened. "Because of me?" "Not only," she said. "They've hunted us for a long time, but now we must be ready." That evening, Naya carried him to the highest cliff. The wind tugged at her feathers as they watched the horizon together. "I'm sorry I brought danger here," he whispered. "You brought life," she said firmly. "You brought hope, and I will carry you for as long as it takes." He looked at her, unsure what to say. There was something in her voice that made him believe her. She didn't just carry him because he was broken. She carried him because he mattered, and for the first time since the crash, Darren believed he might belong. The sky over Thalion darkened as thick clouds gathered, casting long shadows across the jungle. The peaceful rhythm of the village was broken. Whispers moved from platform to platform like wind, soft, quick, and filled with worry. Scouts had returned with warnings. Strange tracks had been found not far from the village. Deep clawed footprints, broken branches, signs of a presence that didn't belong. Naya stood near the edge of a cliff, her wings half spread as she looked out toward the jungle. Her eyes were calm, but inside, she felt the storm building. She had seen these signs before. The raiders were coming. Again. But this time something was different. She was no longer alone. Behind her, Darren leaned on a carved staff, his injured leg still wrapped in cloth. The glowing creature, Tolu, stayed close to his side, its soft light flickering gently. Darren's face was tight with focus. His body was weak, but his mind burned with determination. "I can help," he said. Naya turned to him, her feathers catching the last of the light. "You are not ready to fight." "Maybe not like you," he replied. "But I know how to build things. I know traps, alarms, systems. I can protect the village in my own way." She studied him, then gave a slow nod. "Then we prepare together." That evening they worked side by side. Darren sorted through what was left of his broken ship, gathering wires, panels, anything. That still worked. Naya showed him how to shape strong cords from jungle vines and how to coat thorns with sap that burned the skin. They turned the forest around the village into a maze of traps, hidden pits, tripwires, silent alarms that sent pulses through the vines. Naya also trained Darren to use the staff. She moved with the grace of a bird in flight, showing him how to strike, block, and turn. Darren was slower, less balanced, but he listened carefully. Each movement became smoother. Though his body still ached, he began to feel the strength building inside him again. One night they sat near the edge of the cliff, the stars stretching above them like a painting. The jungle below was quiet. Too quiet. "You've changed," Naya said softly. Darren looked at her. "So have you." She smiled just a little. "You make me remember what it's like to trust." He reached for her hand, their fingers brushing. "You've carried me through everything. I want to carry something for you now." She didn't pull away. At dawn, the first shadow moved through the trees. A scout on watch sent a signal, a quick, sharp tone made by knocking stones together. The village held its breath. Warriors took their places. Darren and Naya stood together at the center, watching the edge of the trees. Then came the raiders. They slipped between the trunks like smoke, tall, masked, dressed in dark armor. Their weapons shimmered faintly in the light. The jungle seemed to tense as they approached. But then, one by one, Darren's traps were triggered. A hidden pit opened under the feet of one. Another was caught in a vine snare. Burning sap coated, their arms making them cry out. Naya's wings snapped open as she leapt into the sky. With her spear in hand, she became a blur of motion, striking and dodging with impossible speed. Darren stayed on the ground, guiding villagers to safety and triggering more traps. He moved through the chaos with Tolu lighting the path beside him, but the raiders were many and they did not give up easily. During a fight near the river, Darren was caught by surprise. A raider lunged from the shadows, slashing with a jagged blade. The weapon grazed Darren's arm, slicing through skin. He cried out, falling to the ground. Blood soaked through the bandages. The world spun. Then Naya was there. She landed with a cry, her wings folding around him as her spear flashed. The raider fell back, defeated. Naya scooped Darren into her arms and flew upward, dodging strikes and arrows. Her heart pounded in her chest, but her grip never loosened. "You're bleeding," she said, voice tight. "I'm sorry," Darren whispered. "I didn't see him." "You fought well," she replied. "But you are mine to protect." As they flew higher, Darren looked down at the village. Fires flickered. Smoke curled toward the sky. But he also saw warriors still fighting. Traps still working. The people were holding on. They landed in a high cave hidden by vines. It was quiet there, the noise of battle far below. Naya laid Darren down and began to clean the wound. "You are not my burden," he said quietly. "I need you to know that." She looked at him, her eyes bright even in the dim cave. "You never were," she answered. "You are my purpose." The rain began to fall outside, soft at first, then louder as thunder rolled in. Inside the cave, Naya wrapped her wings around Darren, shielding him from the chill. Tolu curled beside them, its glow pulsing calmly. As the storm raged, Darren leaned against her, feeling her warmth, her strength. The battle wasn't over. More danger would come, but for now, they had each other, and that was enough. The cave was quiet except for the soft sound of rain tapping against the rocks outside. Darren lay on a bed of moss, his injured arm wrapped tightly in clean cloth. The pain had dulled, but he still felt weak. Beside him, Naya sat with her back straight, her wings curled slightly around them both, shielding him from the cold. Her feathers shimmered faintly in the dim light from the cave's glowing walls, casting warm reflections across her calm face. Darren watched her in silence. She had fought beside him, carried him through danger, and now sat watch over him like a guardian of light. He didn't know how to thank her. Words seemed small, but deep inside, something had changed. He no longer saw himself as just the one being saved. He had stood and fought too. He had mattered, and that was because she believed in him. "We can't keep running," he said after a long moment. Naya turned to him, her eyes steady. "I know. The raiders will return, and next time, they will bring more." Darren sat up slowly, ignoring the ache in his chest. Then we fight, not just with weapons, with ideas, with what I know. She listened as he explained his plan. Using what was left of his ship's energy core and the materials around them, he believed he could create a shield strong enough to protect the heart of the village. If the raiders wanted to take the jungle's power for themselves, they would have to face the full strength of the land and the people who guarded it. For the next 2 days, they worked side by side. Darren used vines, stone, and metal scraps to build a device that could pulse with the rhythm of the planet. Naya flew between cliffs and trees, gathering supplies and warning the villagers. Together, they rebuilt. The village was no longer just a hiding place. It was becoming a fortress. Naya trained the young warriors in flight and defense. Darren taught the elders how to trigger alarms and use the shield. Even the children helped, carrying light stones and weaving nets. Tolu followed Darren everywhere, its glow brighter than ever, as if sensing something important was coming. On the third night, as the twin moons rose over Thalion, the sky turned a deep blue. Stars scattered like glitter across the heavens. Darren stood beside Naya on the high cliff, looking down at the valley glowing below. "Do you think we'll survive this?" he asked quietly. Naya didn't answer right away. She stepped closer to him, her fingers brushing his hand. "I know we will, because we carry each other." A sudden cry echoed from the forest. The alarm stones clacked, once, twice, then a third time. The raiders had returned. This time they came in full force. Dozens of dark figures moved through the trees. They were faster, stronger, more organized. But the village was ready. Traps snapped closed. Hidden nets dropped from trees. Fires were lit along the edges of the cliffs to blind the raiders as they advanced. Darren activated the shield device. A deep hum filled the air as a dome of pulsing light rose above the village, humming with power drawn from the planet itself. The raiders tried to push through, but the shield repelled them. Some turned back. Others grew more desperate. Then he saw him. A towering figure stepped from the trees, larger than the rest, armored in dark metal that shimmered red in the firelight. His voice rumbled like thunder. "I have come for the Guardian. Surrender her, and we will leave the rest." Naya stepped forward, her wings stretched wide. "You will take nothing from us." The battle that followed was fierce. Naya flew with deadly speed, her spear striking true. Darren stayed close to the shield device, adjusting its power as the raiders attacked from all sides. Arrows flew, smoke rose, but the village held its ground. In the chaos, the leader of the raiders broke through. He charged at Darren, his blade raised. Naya screamed his name and flew between them, her wings slamming the attacker backward. But not before Darren was knocked to the ground, blood dripping from his shoulder. Naya caught him just before he fell. "Stay with me," she whispered, lifting him once again into her arms. Her flight was fast, dodging falling debris and streaks of fire. They flew toward the heart of the village where the shield's core pulsed strongest. Darren coughed, struggling to speak. "You shouldn't have to carry me anymore." Naya held him tighter. "I carry you because I want to, because I choose to." As the final raider fell and the leader was driven back into the forest, the sky cleared. The battle was over. For now. Days passed, and the village slowly healed. The shield remained active, a sign that they were no longer just surviving. They were protecting something sacred. Life began to return to normal. Laughter returned to the air. Hope bloomed like the jungle flowers after rain. Darren stood once more at the edge of the cliff, stronger than before. His wounds had healed, but the bond he shared with Naya had grown into something deeper. One morning, as the sun rose through the mist, Naya walked beside him. She extended her hand, her wings half open. "Come," she said with a quiet smile. This time, Darren took her hand without hesitation. She lifted him again, not because he couldn't walk, but because it had become their way. Together, they flew over the treetops, the wind rushing past, the world wide and bright beneath them. As they soared higher, Darren looked at her and smiled. Will you carry me forever? Naya laughed, her eyes shining. Not because you need me to, she said, but because I love you. Their laughter echoed through the sky as they flew into the horizon. Two hearts bound by courage, trust, and a promise never to let the other fall.